Go ahead. I don't say anything, just gavel. Okay, if everybody could take their seats, we're going to start our meeting. Please take your seats. We're going to start the meeting, please. Welcome to the Agoura Hills City Council meeting. This meeting is being conducted in person in the council chambers and also by utilizing video conferencing. Please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices and do not access Zoom during the live meeting, as it will cause interference with our audio-visual system in the council chambers. Tonight's meeting may be viewed on Zoom via the link on the agenda, by live stream on YouTube by entering Agoura Hills City Council meeting in your browser and clicking on the link for March 8th, 2023, or view the live or archive meeting on the city's website at agourahillscity.org and click on the Watch Meetings Online button. I'll now defer to the city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. There will be an opportunity for the public to speak on any item listed on the agenda. Any person in the council chambers who wishes to speak or submit a written comment is requested to complete a public comment card for each item and submit to the city clerk prior to the public comment portion of the item. Comments submitted at the meeting will be provided to the city council for review and filed with the official record. For any person participating remotely, written public comments were requested to be emailed by 4 p.m. today and distributed to the city council in advance of the meeting. To request to speak during public comment, please click on the raise hand button on the Zoom toolbar. Request to speak must be received prior to the mayor closing the public comment portion of the item. Public testimony for all speakers is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Written public comments will not be read aloud by the city clerk. For full details, please refer to the public participation section on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now call the meeting to order. And we'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to defer to Cub Scout Pack 227.
Attention! Will the audience please rise? Color Guard advance. Hand salute. Those not in uniform, please put your right hand over your heart. Please say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color Guard, post the colors. Color Guard dismissed. The audience may be seated.
Thank you. Before we move forward, I just want to thank Cub Scout Pack 227 for great ceremony. I'll now defer to the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Good evening. Councilmember Lopez?
Here.
Councilmember Sylvester?
Here.
Councilmember Wolf?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber?
Here.
Mayor Anstead?
Here.
Mayor Anstead, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll next move to the report of closed session. I'll now defer to the city attorney, Lee.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. There was one item on the council's closed session agenda this evening. It was regarding Casa Green et al. Versus City of Agoura Hills et al. This was regarding the city's temporary tenant eviction moratorium, and the city council unanimously voted to seek appellate review in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to approval of the agenda. Will the maker of the motion and second to approve the agenda state your names?
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber moves to approve tonight's agenda.
Thank you.
This is Deborah Klein Lopez. I'll second.
Thank you. I'll now defer to the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Sylvester?
Aye.
Councilmember Wolf?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead, you have approval 5-0.
Thank you very much. We're now going to move to presentations, and I will go over. like to call up Jordan Lahav, please. Right there. Thank you very much. And it's my honor, actually, tonight to recognize Jordan. I actually couldn't believe the story until I read it fully, so I'm really proud of you. I mean, it takes a lot. We'll talk about what she did, but this is just fantastic. So tonight, on behalf of the City Council, I have the pleasure of presenting a certificate of recognition to a very special young lady, and that's Jordan Lahav. Did I pronounce your last name right? Lahav, okay. Jordan is 10 years old and a resident of Agoura Hills. She has a 6-year-old brother named Zachary and a mini golden doodle named Roxy. Her favorite foods are dumplings, popcorn, and snow cones, and her favorite color is turquoise. Jordan is a 4th grade student at Willow Elementary. She loves to dance and perform and is on a competition dance team and will be performing as Peter Pan in her upcoming school play. Jordan also enjoys creating and writing fictional stories. In the 3rd grade, she started writing her first book, Maggie. And I haven't written any books. I'm a lot older than you. And her book was recently published and is available on paperback and on the Kindle. Jordan is currently writing 2 more books, with one of them being the next book in the Maggie series. Jordan, on behalf of the City Council, it's with great pleasure that I present you with a certificate of recognition and a bouquet of flowers honoring and celebrating you as the Agoura Hills' youngest published author. We are so proud of you. Would you like to say a few words? Okay. Here, I'll hold that for you, and I'll let you hold the mic.
It's really great to inspire other kids. When I first made my book, all my friends, they started to want to write their own books, and they're always like saying, "Jordan, do you want to come help me write my book?" And I'm like, "Sure." And it really fills my heart when I can inspire other friends, other people, and all my family to write books themselves. And it's always great to have more books in the world. And I thank everyone, all my family and friends, for helping me through the way, and my teacher, my 3rd grade teacher, for helping me too, because I was just writing on a piece of paper, and they helped me through the way of writing this whole book, and it really helps, and I thank everybody who helped me.
So I really enjoyed that tremendously, very personally. I'm very proud of you, and that's awesome. We are all very proud. And I want to switch to a topic that's very serious topic, and so I'm going to just kind of start this, but I'm just going to start. I'd like to call up Rabbi Levine, and representing the Chabad of the Conejo, and the Director of Civic Engagement, Rachel Wallace, representing the Jewish Federation of Greater Los Angeles, to present proclamations denouncing anti-Semitism. So can you please come up? Thank you. So, stand here so you can face everybody there. So, anti-Semitism remains a serious and growing danger for Jews in the United States and around the world, and anti-Semitic incidents and rhetoric have continued to surge in the United States and around the world. According to the FBI, anti-Semitic hate crimes have been rising in recent years. For several years now, the FBI has made headlines with the annual release of the nation's aggregated hate crime data. The stats point out the alarming figure that a majority of religiously based hate crimes target the Jewish community, who make up less than 2% of the American population. The Anti-Defamation League annual audit of anti-Semitic incidents found that the number of anti-Semitic incidents reached a high watermark across virtually every category, including harassment, vandalism, and assault. Attacks against Jewish institutions include Jewish community centers and synagogues were up by 61%, incidents at K through 12 schools increased 106%, and incidents on college campuses rose 21%. The ADL's most recent data from April 2021 tabulated 2,717 anti-Semitic incidents throughout the United States. This is a 34% increase from 2020 and the highest number on record since the ADL first began tracking anti-Semitic incidents in 1979. The report also showed a record number of hate incidents in LA and the state of California. The number of anti-Semitic incidents in LA jumped 29% from 141 in 2020 to 182 in 2021, with assaults increasing from 3 in 2020 to 14 in 2021. Across California, 367 anti-Semitic incidents were reported in 2021 compared to 289 the previous year, a 28% jump, and 15 assaults were reported in the state in 2021 compared to 4 in 2020. Holocaust denial and distortion, including intentional efforts to excuse or minimize the impact of the Holocaust, dishonors those who were persecuted and murdered and reinforces the need for advancing accurate Holocaust education globally. Over the course of the past decade, Holocaust distortion has grown in intensity, and protecting the history of the Holocaust and recognizing and confronting Holocaust denial and distortion are critical to preventing anti-Semitism. A nationwide survey released in 2020 showed a lack of Holocaust knowledge among adults under 40, including millennials and Generation Z. The survey's data came from 11,000 interviews across the country and was led by a task force that included Holocaust survivors, historians, educational institutions, and nonprofits. 1 in 10 of the respondents did not recall ever having heard the word Holocaust before. 63% of those surveyed did not know that 6 million Jews were murdered in the Holocaust, and over half of those thought the death toll was under 2 million. Much anti-Semitism today takes the form of modern or new anti-Semitism in which actual bias against Jews is denied while prejudiced attitudes exist and discriminatory statements or acts are engaged in. Every anti-Semitic act creates a climate of fear, anxiety, insecurity, both for the individual and the community, and as such, Jews are exposed to suffering, the feelings of vulnerability, anger, depression, and other sequelae of victimization. The city of Agoura Hills takes great pride in diversity and respect for all people, and Jewish people are an important part of this city's fabric. The city of Agoura Hills unequivocally denies the recent rise in anti-Semitic violence and harassment targeting Jewish Americans and stands in solidarity with those affected by anti-Semitism. The city of Agoura Hills pledges to support the inalienable rights of all people in our community who should be treated with respect and strongly stands against hate, bias, or violence based on identity. The city of Agoura Hills joins cities, counties, and states across the country in affirming its commitment to the safety and well-being of all community members, including the Jewish communities. On behalf of the City Council, I would like to present a proclamation denouncing anti-Semitism to both the Chabad of the Conejo and the Jewish Federation of the Greater Los Angeles, and call on our community elected officials, faith leaders, and civil society leaders to denounce and combat all manifestations of anti-Semitism. Thank you. And I'd now like to present a proclamation of each. Rabbi Levine, I'd like to present this proclamation to you. And from my heart, I want to say that you have definitely somebody that is fully committed to making sure that we have diversity and do not have anti-Semitism here in Agoura Hills. You got it. Can I get all clear on it? And then I'm going to ask each of you to say a few words if you would.
The Jewish community cannot adequately express their gratitude to the City Council and to the Mayor of Agoura Hills for this proclamation. It's unfathomable that in the year 2023, in our great country, United States of America, that was founded on the values of our fathers of liberty and freedom, as we said in the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God, that there should be this terror that has crossed the entire America and the world over of anti-Semitism. The Jewish people yesterday just celebrated a holiday of Purim. We have many holidays because throughout history we have been persecuted many a time. This holiday of Purim commemorates a story of over 2,300 years ago when the ancient Persian Empire tried to annihilate every Jew across the world. And the message of Purim in the story is that no matter how dark the world circumstances are, we can be certain that goodness will always prevail over evil, that light will always prevail over darkness, and truth will always prevail over lies. We thank you again, and God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the Agoura Hills City Council, to the Honorable Mayor, to Councilmember Wolf for inviting the Federation to come present today. My name is Rachel Wallace. I'm the Director of Civic Engagement at the Jewish Federation of Greater Los Angeles. And as an organization, we represent and support the Jewish community throughout LA City and County, from birth to high school to the elderly to Holocaust survivors. And we send our appreciation to the Honorable Mayor and City Council for their leadership on this critical issue denouncing anti-Semitism. We are grateful for your broad support and allyship to help shine a light against anti-Semitism. The past several months have proven to us that much needs to be done to fight growing anti-Semitism across America and even here in LA and surrounding areas. As a federation that is responsible for the Jewish community, we understand that our collective mission to stand up to the harmful prejudices and stereotypes which at times are translated into action targeting Jews is more critical than ever. Our recent comprehensive study of Jewish LA shows that 9 out of 10 adults in the Jewish community are concerned about anti-Semitism, and that close to 1 in 5 Jewish adults in LA indicated that they had personally experienced anti-Semitism in the previous year. This should come as no surprise, as according to the FBI hate crime statistics, Jews are consistently the #1 most targeted religious community. Anti-Semitism is an age-old hatred that has existed for thousands of years, taking different forms but perennially afflicting the Jewish community. Resurgent nationalism, economic displacement, and inequities emboldened radical political movements, conspiracy theories espoused by prominent figures, aggressive delegitimization campaigns against Israel and its supporters, and the weaponization of social media all contribute to anti-Semitism. All of this threatens the fabric of our nation and requires that we, as a community, respond with clarity and purpose. Today's proclamation and the invitation for us as Jewish communal leaders to present is a vital step to address what our community needs and expects from us. This proclamation denouncing anti-Semitism is an important step to show the Jewish residents of Agoura Hills and the surrounding areas that the Jewish community is heard and valued. This proclamation also signifies that the Agoura Hills community and City Council stands against all forms of hate. Thank you all for your leadership and for inviting me to speak today.
Actually, I'd like to ask any council members, would they like to make a comment? Councilmember Wolf?
Yeah, I'll start off. I want to start by acknowledging that we have the captain of the Lost Hill Sheriff Station, Gen C2, here, and to be here on this night means so much. I want to thank Rabbi Levine. I want to thank Stuart Greenberg, who I think, and his wonderful wife Cheryl for being here. I want to thank Rachel Wallace from the Jewish Federation, and thank Mayor Anstead for making this happen. Deborah Lipstadt, the United States Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, states that when our children fear there is danger in openly identifying as Jewish, it is indeed something that we should all be concerned about. It is more important than ever for elected officials to speak out against anti-Semitism and all forms of prejudice and discrimination. By publicly denouncing this vile behavior, we, as officials, can send a message that hate will not be tolerated in our community. And we can help to promote greater understanding and tolerance amongst all our residents. As mentioned, anti-Semitism is rising at an alarming rate throughout the nation, and it is so important that we stand up to hatred. Agoura Hills is home to a large and vibrant Jewish community, and tonight with this resolution, we are demonstrating our dedication as a city to the safety and security of all who call Agoura Hills home. I am committed to working with my fellow council members, community leaders, law enforcement, and residents to promote tolerance, inclusion, and respect for all. Together, we can work to build a more just and equitable society, free from the scourge of anti-Semitism and all forms of hatred and discrimination. So thank you again to the city for putting this together. It really means a lot, I think, to myself and to our Jewish community. So thank you.
Councilmember Lopez?
Thank you so much, Councilmember Wolf and Mayor Anstead, for bringing this really to the forefront of our community. I won't say much more to Councilmember Wolf's wonderful statement. What I will say is, if you ever have the ability to visit Israel, or if you have visited Israel, and you go to the Yad Vashem Museum, and you walk through it, you realize that the Holocaust was, of course, not just 4 years, right? It wasn't just 41 to 44, 45. It was decades and decades in the building. And you walk through and you see, newspapers and media and all of these examples of society casting Jews as other and really demonizing other. And so this goes not only for the Jewish population, but really for any marginalized group that has faced hatred. And that is that it's years and years in the making before you get to these horrific situations like we saw in the 40s. And I want to really thank our fellow council members for bringing this to the forefront, because it is time to be opening your eyes to this. It is time for all of us to be opening our eyes and seeing that this otherization is happening with Jews and with other minorities, and by stating with this proclamation, it's showing that we will not stand for it, we will stand up for it, we will call it out. And so I really want to thank the council and our members of our Jewish community for being here tonight, and of course our captain as well, who I know stands with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. So I have been a victim of anti-Semitism when I was quite young on quite a few occasions because I had blonde hair and blue eyes. And so I would hear the most atrocious comments about Jews. And then I would say, well, I'm Jewish. And people would say to me, well, you're different. You're not like other Jews. And took a long time until I was proud enough to say, yes, I am. I'm just like all the other Jews that I know. So I bring this up tonight. It kind of breaks my heart sitting here just even remembering it, but I bring it up because those seeds of anti-Semitism are sometimes in off-color jokes, in comments that are made in front of people, comments that are made in front of children. And to this day, I can actually remember each and every incident because it was so painful. So I would ask you to be out there in the community and feel free to comment if you're standing with someone. It's not that easy to be standing there when somebody makes an anti-Semitic comment in a group or a joke or a bias or anything like that. But it's important that each and every one of us speak up. Like I said, it's not easy to do. It's easy now for me at my age, but it was not easy to do when I was younger. So I would just encourage you to be mindful of all that because where we're headed is, we've been in a very dark time with anti-Semitism, and we seem to be going in the wrong direction on changing the world. So thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you, council members and mayor, for bringing this to our attention because it's a very important issue and something that all of us need to be more mindful about. So thank you all.
Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to the council so that we have a chance to speak out because I think it is everybody's responsibility to, when they hear something, they need to speak out against it. I haven't had the pleasure of visiting Israel, but I did visit Dakar, and I will never forget what I saw there. I mean, it's horrific. And so my sympathies are with you, and I will support you. So thank you.
Thank you, and I think I said a lot in my statement, but I personally want to say too that it's disgusting whenever I hear, if I was to hear any jokes that are anti-Semitic, and I'm so glad that we did bring this forward, and am very proud of what we did here today. So thank you very much. So we're now going to move into our annual City of Agoura Hills volunteer recognition. And so I'd like to first thank everyone for coming to our annual volunteer recognition event. Tonight is about our hundreds of volunteers who contribute countless hours of their time and energy into making the City of Agoura Hills a better community. Thank you to all the volunteers in 2022 here tonight. Your involvement was impressive and truly valued. Each volunteer offers their own unique skills in a variety of groups and committees. Tonight, we will honor some extraordinary people for going above and beyond their call of civic duty. Now, I would like to ask Recreation Manager Nick Newkirk to begin our volunteer recognition event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. On behalf of the Department of Community Services, we'd like to thank you all for attending this evening. As I call your name, please proceed up front where a council member or the mayor will thank you on behalf of the City of Agoura Hills. Once you have received your gift, we ask that you remain up here in front of the City Council dais, where we will take a picture of the entire group with the council member. These gifts are just a small token of our appreciation. We would also like to ask to hold your applause until the entire group has been called so that we can hear everyone's name. At this point, I'd like to ask Councilmember Sylvester to step down to the gift area, and she's already there. She beat me. Our first group is the Agoura Hills Calabasas Joint Powers Authority board members. This is the governing board of the Agoura Hills Calabasas Community Center. Jim Bukowski, Ethan Pavone, and Brad Rosenheim. So, yeah. The Agoura Hills Specific Plan Update Citizens Advisory Group. This group worked under the direction of the City Council cooperatively with staff to provide input and guidance to inform proposed amendments to the AVSP. The CAG met for over a year to provide feedback that our consulting team will use to draft an amended AVSP that addresses the planning principles for the area established by the City Council. Ed Corridori, Marianne Escaron, Deanna Glassberg, Irma Haldane, Eric Justinson, Gordon Larimer, Candace Lee, Serena Newsy, April Powers, Gregory Sprague, Benjamin Suber, Lance Worsham, and Rick Selman. Wherever you'd like to take the picture.
Oh, okay.
You can go in between them, you can photo them.
The Architectural Review Panel assists the Planning Department in reviewing new commercial and residential development applications for compliance with the city's architectural design standards and guidelines. Francisco Bear and Albert Croft. At this point, I would like to ask Councilmember Klein Lopez to step down to the gift area to present the next few groups. And I did forget to mention that I do apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's names. The CERT team is a group of individuals who are trained to assist in the event of an emergency in such capacities as medical, traffic control, and care and shelter. They also attend community events and assist with first aid. Greg Azevedo, Kirk Allegro, Kevin Austin, Danielle Blank Chowdhury, Tony Donadio, Robert Duram, Dario Eminente, Stuart Goodman, Shirley Gu, Bob Hazard, Patricia Higgins, Richard Iacovelli, Rob Jones, Norman Hume, Brent Cast, Diane Lemoyne, Ann Novick, Bill Novick, Mark Paris, Christy Reeves, Evan Reeves, San Slauson, Jeff Wachtel, Tony Wertenbrook, David Wing, and Jeremy Wolf.
Okay, we're gonna have to squeeze in. Yeah, we're gonna have to squeeze in. Make 2 rows. Yeah, you can kneel down. Yeah. We need a, even if I back up, we're gonna be too far out. Yep. Yeah, come on closer. I know, it's just, yeah. Maybe I'll go this way. There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
The city treasurer approves the city's investments of funds and also reviews the city's investment reporting. Vivian Avella and Bin Zhang. The Community Concert Band Board. The Community Concert Band performs 3 times a year and proudly showcases nearly 50 members in the concert and jazz bands. The board advises staff in such areas as location, music selection, and acts as a liaison to the band, and will be having their concert this Sunday, March 12th at Lindero Canyon Middle School at 4 o'clock. Stephanie David, Brianne Foster, Robert Hackett, Derek Pova, Joseph Alex Reyes, and David Ubersachs. At this point, I would like to ask Mayor Anstead to step down to the gift area to present the next few groups.
I just have to say, it's a good thing CERT showed up, or I would have been totally stood up.
The Community Services Coalition is responsible for monitoring and actively addressing quality of life issues affecting this community, such as senior services, emergency services, social mental health issues, and transportation programs. Joyce Corridori, Sula Pisto, and Devin Rosenheim. The Community Service Days Committee assists staff in identifying projects, securing funding, recruiting volunteers, and overall implementation of this event. Ben Suber and Jeremy Wolf. The Cultural Arts Council. The Arts Council advises the Department of Community Services on programs and activities, as well as promotes art and culture through the Agoura Hills area. Tracy Burson, Karen Kent, Priscilla Kromnick, Jessica Reinhart, and Elisa Spalding. And before we move on to the next group, Mayor Anstead would like to make a special presentation.
I'd like to call up Zev Sagi. How do I pronounce it? Sagi. More than that. So tonight we are honoring Raya, is it Raya? Raya Sagi, an important member of the city's history, city's library, and city's family. Raya served as the community library manager for the Agoura Hills Library for almost 10 years, while Raya served communities in the LA County Library System for almost 30 years. Those 10 years that she served Agoura Hills were the most meaningful. Raya and her family were also residents of Agoura Hills with her husband Zev and their son Daniel. Raya was instrumental in moving the Agoura Hills Library from the storefront facility on Roadside Drive into its current home, where it has been since 2001. The construction of the new library and moving permanent locations were projects that took major effort. Raya was actively involved, energetically excited, and a proud force for the project. She had a permanent place with the city staff, the city council, and the new civic center. Tonight we remember Raya with her certainty left her mark on the Agoura Hills Library, the Friends of the Library, city staff, the city, and the residents. Her infectious smile, her one-of-a-kind laughter, and her always bright and positive approach will forever be a part of the city of Agoura Hills. Zev, on behalf of the entire city of Agoura Hills family, I would like to present you this gift in remembrance of our beloved Raya. I'd now like to ask the Friends of the Family of the Library to join us for their presentation to Zev. This is what Zev's getting a little bit more than a water bottle. Let me let you hold that, and I'm going to let the Friends of the Library come up, and then we'll take a picture together, and I'm going to get you a water bottle, too. I want you to hold that, and we're going to take a picture, I think, over here. Come on, we'll get you in the middle. Come on up here. After we take a picture, I'll let you say your words. Yes, well, I will take one, so the two of us, and then we'll take the rest.
Yeah, first off, I'm sorry that Maggie left. We were looking forward to seeing her sometime for One City, One Book, but maybe a few more years yet before we get there. But anyways, it's an honor to be here. Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you very much. On a personal note, Raya Sagi was a very special lady. She was not only a friend of the library, but she was a personal friend to both Diane and I. And I am honored to be able to end up giving a plaque to Zev. And let me read it. It may be a little redundant to what the mayor. Anyways, with sincere appreciation to Raya Sagi for dedicating her heart and her soul into the opening of the beautiful Agoura Hills Library, for serving as our first library manager from 1995 to her retirement in 2009. She saw books as her destiny and devoted her career in introducing the knowledge in them to the younger generation. And there's also a Hebrew thing, and I forget it, I'm not saying it. So anyways, the Friends of the Agoura Hills Library. I'm the treasurer of the Friends, and Raya, if we ever needed something or we needed to end up having inputs of what we were doing downstairs in our bookstore, what have you, she was always there. She was a dedicated, lovely, beautiful, wonderful lady. There's not enough great adjectives that I could end up adding for her, but she was sorely missed. God love her.
I just want to say that this plaque will hang in the library. It'll be on the wall in the library.
Joan, I couldn't hear you. Would you mind repeating that?
Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm sorry. This plaque is presented to Zev, but it's going to hang in the library as a memorial to Raya.
Just a word. I want to say a few words, but there is one sentence here written in Hebrew which I'd like to read, which is, "Ait eshet sefer v'yitzagt lemofet et am hasefer." And the best translation I could do is that you were a person of books, and you were perfect representation of the people of the book. And I thought that was appropriate for her. And if you don't mind, I wanted to say a couple words. I'm sure I'm speaking for Raya. We would like to thank the Agoura Hills Friends of the Library team for being a long-term, enduring friends to Raya and me, and for helping to fulfill many community-appreciated projects, including this family-appreciated project, this one. And I would like to give special thanks to Judy Carter for meticulously providing the conduit between the Friends of the Library and myself in bringing this project to fruition. I'd like to thank the library leadership for responding to my request to place a sign of recognition to this library first manager, Raya Sagi. And I would like to express our family appreciation to the city council members for providing such a respectable platform to recognize Raya's career-long dedication to the community of Agoura Hills. Thank you very much. Thank you efforts as well. Appreciate it.
The Friends of the Agoura Hills Library. Don't get too comfortable. The purpose of the Friends is to maintain an association to promote the knowledge of the functions, resources, services, and the needs of the Agoura Hills Library. to assist in bringing to the library funds for special needs beyond the command of the library budget, to support educational and literary purposes, and to stimulate the gifts of books, magazines, desirable collections, endowments, and bequests to the library. This group also includes the Friends of the Library Board of Directors. I would like to first call up the board. Diane Haupt, Eric Haupt, Judy Carta, Kathy McBean, Mike Richards, Rose Topless, and Joan Yakovone. And the rest of the volunteers for the library: Steve Allen, Fran Blair, Devin Braun, Robin Britton, Susan Bukowski, Bobby Constantin, Rosanna Carroll, Gregory Cox, Joe DiMercutio, Joni Fields, Wayne Gabaldon, Nikki Jaffe, Randall Kennedy, Elisa Maher, Sam Mazzilli, Allison Merkel, Robert Muncher, Herb Oberman, Nina Olander, Betty Rohan, Natalie Spiewak, Nate Spiewak, Susie Talinis, Rose Topless, Alexandra Wendell, and Lexa Wendell. At this point, I would like to ask Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber to step down to the gift area to present the next few groups. The One City, One Book Committee has representatives from the local community, the Las Virgenes Unified School District, Agoura Hills Friends of the Library, and the Agoura Hills Library to coordinate the educational events of the One City, One Book program. They also assist in the selection of the book. Nina Hull, Tina Johnson, Judy Carta, Karen Kent, Katie Magaha, Randy Paller, and Joan Yakovone. The Planning Commission acts in an advisory capacity to the City Council on legislative land use matters and makes decisions on new commercial and residential development applications. John R. Asuncion, David Horenstein, Murtaza Morgi, Penny Sylvester, and Jeremy Wolf. The Reyes Adobe Days Committee members. The Executive Committee plans and organizes specific events within the Reyes Adobe Days celebration, while the volunteers assist in the implementing of the activities such as the Senior Fiesta, Day at the Adobe, Rad Parade, and the Rad Ride. Jennifer Johnson, Pete Lee, Randy Paller, Amanda Poulos, Jessica Reinhardt, Ellen Wall, and Jerry Wolf. At this point, I would like to ask Councilmember Wolf to step down to the gift area to present our last few groups. The senior program volunteers donate time and skills to facilitate and maintain some of the ongoing senior program activities. Mario Carone, Bobby Constantin, Susan Sergo, Bruce Fleck, Marilyn Guild, Louise Halsey, Deepak Mehta, Robert Norgal, and Pamela Still. Tax preparation. This volunteer is trained by the IRS and the AARP and assists the community in doing their yearly taxes for free. Robert Harper. He's busy doing taxes. The Teen VIP program is a summer program that allows teens to do volunteer work, such as working at special events, camps, classes, and much more. I do apologize in advance, some of these names are a little difficult. Maitel Adams, Ella Avshari, Nathan Benu, Natasha Bomareddy, Siddharth Bomareddy, Aksath Gangdarmamath, Arthaf Gangardarmath, Grace Goldenberg, Ava Harrison, Colin Hook, Jay Lurthra, Lane Phillips, Dasha Polich, Miles Slotnick, and Thomas Torres. They're all doing homework. Our tennis league coordinator. This individual plans and implements the men's tennis league at the Agoura High School tennis courts. Lawrence Linick. At this point, I would like to pass it back to Mayor Anstead for closing remarks.
Sure. Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate that. I want to first just personally thank all the volunteers here for all their hard work and efforts and volunteering your time to help other people. And that's something that not everybody's willing to give, and you were. And so from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you personally for that. And with that, I want to also, again, the annual volunteer recognition event is this city's way of thanking the hundreds of volunteers for the thousands of hours that they have donated over the past year. This evening is just a small token of our heartfelt appreciation for all your time and energy. It's people like you that make the city of Agoura Hills a great place to live. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. Now we're going to continue on with our meeting. I'll wait till we get everybody back. And we're going to move into intergovernmental special purpose committee and departmental reports. Are there any reports from staff? No? Okay. Are there any reports from the city council? I'll go. I'm going to. Oh. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break so everybody can leave. Thank you. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to start us out at public comments. This section is reserved for persons wishing to speak on items not listed on the agenda that are under the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. For council chamber attendees, please submit a public comment card to the city clerk. For Zoom attendees, please click the raised hand button on the Zoom toolbar now. Public testimony is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and a speaker's time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons addressing the council shall not engage in disorderly conduct that disrupts or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. We respectfully request that if you have something to distribute to the council, that you hand it to our city clerk and do not approach the dais. I will now defer to the city clerk for public comments.
Thank you, Mary Anstead. No written public comments have been received and no speaker cards have been submitted. I'll now defer to staff for any remote participants.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. There are no hands to raise to speak on this item.
Thank you. We'll now move to the consent calendar. This section is reserved for persons wishing to speak on items on the consent calendar. For council chamber attendees, please submit a public comment card to the city clerk. For Zoom attendees, please click the raise hand button on the Zoom toolbar now. Public testimony is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and a speaker's time may not be transferred to another speaker. We respectfully request that if you have something to distribute to the council, you hand it to our city clerk and do not approach the dais. I will now defer to the city clerk for public comments.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. No written public comments have been received and no speaker cards have been submitted. I'll now defer to staff for any remote participants.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. No hands are raised to speak on this item.
Thank you. Are there any questions from City Council on the consent calendar? No? Okay. I will now call for a motion and a second to adopt the consent calendar.
Councilmember Sylvester moves to adopt the consent calendar.
Councilmember Wolf seconds.
Thank you. Now defer to the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Sylvester?
Aye.
Councilmember Wolf?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead, you have approval 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is a discussion regarding the proposed amendments to the City Council norms. I will now defer to the City Manager Hamburger for staff presentation.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and council members. The item before you this evening is some proposed updates to the City Council norms. The norms were adopted in 2005 and serve as a guide for behavior and protocol for the City Council. Over the years, the norms have been updated in regards to maybe unique circumstances that have occurred or any changes in legislation, as it's meant to be a living document and be adjusted as the council sees fit. The proposed changes this evening were directed through an ad hoc committee and then developed and then proposed language by staff and the city attorney. Former council member Linda Northrup and now Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber were on the ad hoc committee. This item was just because of the retirement of former council member Northrup. We brought this item now. At this point, we wanted the council to be fully seated and have this information in front of you so that you could discuss it. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of the changes for the public and for the council. We've updated the closed session, and it reiterates the confidentiality of the closed session and what would happen in the case of any breach of information. We've also, under the city council interaction and communication, have clarified when a city council member should speak on behalf of the city or when should speak as an individual. And then I think the largest change is a proposed new section titled Violation of Norms, which adds specificity to any violation that may occur and the process that the council members would go through to address that perceived violation. Finally, the changes include an acknowledgement form by the council members that they have received and agree to the council norms. And with that brief report, I will conclude my comments, and then City Attorney Lee, myself, are available for any questions that you may have. And I don't know if Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber wants to say anything before that as well.
I don't think I have, unless anyone has any questions of me. I did speak to Linda Northrop this week, and, well, I'll tell you during deliberations, but she had no questions. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. You know, it goes back a while, so I hope I can remember, but I think we'll go from there.
So before we move on to the public comments, does any council member have questions of city manager or staff? Any other questions? No? Go ahead.
I have just one question, and that's just in the wording at the beginning where it says, except for those norms that are based on laws, these norms are voluntary and non-binding. Why did you decide to say it like that?
Can I give that one to our city attorney?
Well, that was the decision of the council once upon a time when they adopted the norms, number one. Number two, but as a matter of standard practice, these are considered voluntary. Although we did prepare a section on the violation of norms to give it a little bit more teeth, but it's really just guidelines and making clear to council members how they should behave, as opposed to, I don't think anyone's really interested in, busting out their hammer on anyone. It's just like, hey, these are the rules. Like, the thing about Agoura Hills is it is very much known as a council that is very courteous and respectful. And I think this council, especially, it's really important for this council that that legacy continues on. So I think in the spirit of that, it is still technically voluntary. But as you'll see in the violation of norms section, we're trying to make it a little bit more, try to compel people a little bit more about the importance of these norms.
So could you change it from voluntary to expected?
Yeah, I mean, certainly if that's the council's desire.
I mean, it just makes it a little stronger than voluntary. Right at the beginning, sorry, page 1, the third paragraph down. Except for those norms that are based on law, these norms are, and it's voluntary and non-binding. Could we say expected and non-binding? Because then it's a bit, voluntary means you can choose whether you want to do it or not, by definition, but expected is a little stronger.
Yeah, I think that's a good comment, because we are now added a section at the very end where you have to sign in blood that you're going to obey the norms. So we are moving in that direction.
Can I?
I'm kidding. You don't have to sign in blood.
Regarding the signing, so what will be the normal procedure? So when someone's first elected, or when will this be signed? Is it every 4 years? Is it every year?
The thought process was, and the discussion was, that any new incoming council member would receive the norms and then sign the acknowledgement form. And then if there's any further updates, we would then reroute that at that point so that we make sure everybody's got the same information.
And so for these purposes, we'd be starting new, so all of us would be signing this?
That is correct. That was the intention.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Written public comments were requested to be emailed in advance of tonight's meeting. If you wish to speak, please click the raised hand button on the Zoom toolbar now. Public testimony is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and a speaker's time may not be transferred to another speaker. We respectfully request that if you have something to distribute to the council, you hand it to our city clerk and do not approach the dais. I will now defer to the city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. No written public comments have been received and no speaker cards have been submitted. I'll now defer to staff for any remote participants.
Thank you, Mayor Anstead. No hands are raised to speak on this item.
Thank you. Does any council member have any further questions or comments before we move into deliberations? Sure.
I have comments, not questions, about a couple of different things. So I'm going to be going back and forth, so give me a second. I like Penny's comment about deleting voluntary and non-binding and just putting in expected. If you go to page 4, I think under number 8, I would like to recommend that the language be something to the effect of, in case of violations of norms in addition to the other penalties stated herein, the mayor and the mayor pro tem can be removed and replaced from their positions by a majority of the council. Meaning that if the mayor or the mayor pro tem do something that's a violation of the norm, in addition to what we all can be censored or whatever for, that they could be removed as mayor or removed as mayor pro tem. And I just think it gives future councils, again, you know, we sit here today and we don't know what's coming, but what I can tell you is we do know that people, you know, that may have extreme views are running for local offices. And we may see that happen in Agoura Hills, you know, all across the country, school boards, city councils, all this that's going on. And if somebody was the mayor or the mayor pro tem and they were acting and violating the norms, you know, I think the council at that point would want to have the right to remove them from not remove them from office, but remove them as a mayor or a mayor pro tem. If it's in the best interest of the city. So I thought we might add something like that to that page, and you guys can think about it while I move on here. Then I had something on page 12. If you go to page 12. Okay, page 12, number 7. It would, where we have, sorry, let's see, referral. I wanted to put injunction, something about an and or I had in here on my notes, but not limited, including but not limited to any of the following actions. Sorry about this, you guys. I wrote notes on here, but it's hard to access them while I'm reading this. I'm not finding it, but somewhere in there, it'll come to me. Something about and or public or private. I'll have to come back to that. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's under closed sessions, but it's still part of 7. Any other action the council may take against a council member that has violated the norms, i.e. public apology request. It could be, you know, a public or private apology request, removal from committee assignments, or public or private censor. And then moving on to page 14. Oh, okay. So under number 10, it has come up in discussion that A, B, and C really aren't subsections of paragraph 10. There actually should be 10, 11, 12, 13. Because A, B, and C apply across the board, not just when a council member is writing a letter or something against another council member. It's just in general. So I think that has to be 10, you know, A would become 11, B would become 12, C would become 13, then there's a new 11 would become 14, and so on. I think that's clear, but I just wanted to check with you. And then on page 14 also, if you go down to where it's red, council in 2 spots is missing an L under the EG, and then the next line down, unless the city council. So we just need to correct that. I already talked about the no subsection. Page 14. This has to do with the COG, so let me find where I had that. Okay, in the event an issue arises that requires a council member to vote on a matter in his or her capacity as a city representative, member of another public agency, and then I think I'm on the new 11 in the red on page 14, and then we have EG, you know, parentheses, Council of Governments or joint. That councilman, where is that? It said urgent. The council manager should bring that issue to the city matters unless the city council has already provided direction on that. If there is an urgency from that public agency to vote on the issue, And I think it should say whether urgent or not. If it hasn't come to the council and it's not in our legislative platform, then the member just has to abstain. And hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, so either take out urgent, if there's an urgency from that public agency, either take out urgency if there's a request from that public, or just say, if there is an, if there is an urgent or whether urgent or not. I'm not sure on the exact, I can use your help on that, but I think it doesn't really matter. Pretty much there's a lot of leeway there if it's within our legislative platform. We talked about that, I guess, last month. But if you don't have time to talk to the city manager, and if you haven't had time to bring it to the full council, and it's not in our legislative agenda, then sadly you need to abstain, or try and move for more time from whatever public agency you're in. So let's see, then I have, I'm getting down, okay, page 22. There was something on page 21 and 22. 21 and 22, where did I know on 22, it's I, the undersigned Agoura Hills member of the city council. That doesn't really flow. I don't think we call ourselves that. I think it should say, I, the undersigned member of the Agoura Hills City Council. And then would it be I have or I have? Yeah. So just switch those words around. Agoura Hills member of the city council. It's really the Agoura Hills City Council, and we're just members of it. And then on page 21, I had something. Let me see if I can go back to my other notes. Let's see, 21. I don't remember what it was. Something had jumped out on me on page 21, but I'm not seeing. It may come to me while we're discussing it. And that's it.
Thank you. Are there any other council members that have questions or comments?
Yeah, I just have a couple of, the one I brought up before, and then I just had a couple of typos, so bear with me. Okay, on page 11, number 4, breaches is missing an E. And then I wasn't sure, why did you go 4 and then 4.5 and then not use 5? Couldn't it just go 4, 5, 6? Okay. Yeah, but it has 4.5 here. I'm just coming. Oh, and at the top of page 11, so are we keeping, because you've got council members in 2 different colors. If it's all one word, we should make it all red. Just to, do you see what I'm saying?
Well, council's being added. 2 members.
Oh, okay. Then there should be a space. No?
No, it's one word.
Okay, it's fine the way it is? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, and then on page, oh, you got the councils already. You told them on page 14. And then on page 22, where it says, in accordance with the principles and practices faux the Agoura Hills City Council. I think you meant of the typo. That was it. And I agree with everything that Elise suggested. Which one? The last one? On, what did I say it was on? 22. Page 22. Yeah, it's in red. Yeah, you missed it. Okay, yeah. Where is it? Here, right here. That's it, thank you.
have no additional comments. We'll save it for deliberations if we're ready to go into that.
Okay. So I think I'll wait and make comments, I guess, in deliberations as well. So we'll now move on to deliberations. Let's see. I did public comment already. So I think we'll now move into deliberations. Councilmember Wolf, do you want to start us out?
Sure. I appreciate this being put together. I feel like it's a great roadmap. I think that we have a really strong foundation, that we are known as a city that gets along really well, and we work together really well, but I think this is a great kind of roadmap to lay out what the norms are. I even learned a few things in here about how council meetings should run, and I appreciate this, and we'll be supporting it and look forward to signing it. Or maybe we can have like a signing day. So thank you.
You got it. I think actually I'm going to be a little unorthodox and actually go next, just because I want to try to make some statements on some of the changes I think that Council Member or Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber was proposing. I think one of the things that I would like to talk about or discuss is, again, concerning the change, I think specifically on the mayor pro tem, and if there's a violation, which obviously, hopefully nobody violates any of these norms, but that the fact that the mayor pro tem could be automatically changed or voted off with one violation of the norm. So like as an example, like let's say we're at a heated discussion on the podium over some issue and one council member thinks the other council member violated the norms, that one incident they could meet and then say, hey, I don't think I violated the norm, and the other person did, and then if they get two other members of the council to then vote on one dispute, that basically that person loses their mayor pro tem position. So I think it's a pretty severe penalty. And I think if it is going to be that we add that, it should probably be all 4 out of 5 members. In other words, the rest of the entire council says that was way over, and not just a majority, that it would be 4 out of 5, basically saying that was a violation if we're going to do it at the first violation of the norm. Because a lot of the norms deal with the discussions on the podium and not making personal attacks against each other on the podium, which I'm all for. But there has been heated discussions on this podium, and I would just want to make sure that it wasn't coming down to a disagreement over an issue that we then say somebody violated the norms, and now that person's losing their position. And it's not just, I wouldn't say it just for me, but there's also others that are going to have this position after me as well. And so if it's going to be that severe of a consequence, I think it should be all the rest of the members of the council should be in agreement that person violated the norms, if we were going to add that in.
Well, I actually think it would have to be a pretty significant violation of the norms for on a first shot that somebody was going to remove somebody as mayor or mayor pro tem. But I don't have an objection to it being 4 out of 5 members, because I do think that it will be that significant that the rest of the council will be agreeing that the mayor or mayor pro tem should be removed from the position. Okay. So I don't have a problem with that, rather than a majority, which would be 3. I'd like to hear from everybody else.
Sure. Councilmember Wolf, any comment on that?
I have no problem. I appreciated the sentiment the Mayor Pro Tem was making regarding some extreme views that we've seen in other communities, but I wouldn't have a problem, I don't think, with going 4 to 4, so I'll support that.
Councilmember Lopez?
Are we talking about just this item right now, or?
Yeah, just on this, and then we can talk about the rest of it as well.
Okay, I have to, I can't resist, but on page 8, item 1F, it says the mayor allows other council members to speak first and then summarizes or provides the final comments before asking for a motion. So I think we should finish having all of our comments and then go through each thing that we maybe need to dig deeper on. I think is that the intent of that's the intent of it. So with that, I'll give my overall comments, and then I'll weigh in on the one issue that I think we're going to bring back. I want to thank former and always Councilmember Linda Northrup, and then our Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber for doing this. I mean, I read through it several times, and it's just so down to the nitty gritty, and I really appreciate that and expect nothing less from you two. So I don't have a lot of comments on the actual content of it because it's been so deep. And to the comment about voluntary and expected, I agree with you, Councilmember Sylvester. That is a good word, and the word expected is used elsewhere in here, and I think that is the tone that is trying to be struck. I will say that in addition to the details of this, that although these are not necessarily enforceable by law, they have huge consequences on the public to be able to trust us to deliver services in a respectful, confident way. And so it's very important for public trust. And, we saw that even though we are a council that has, always been, let's just say this, we haven't gotten into a lot of the brawls we've seen on some of the other cities. And we're very proud of that. There have been some severe disagreements and heated discussions, and it's long before we were all on the council. It's nothing new to any particular council. But I will say that during COVID, some of that dissolving of decorum and following norms actually resulted in a public safety issue for some of us who were quite literally getting death threats. So it's an important document. And I appreciate that it's a living document and that we can fine tune it, and that there's a new section on violations. To the specific issue of removing, a mayor or a mayor pro tem, I mean, we could do that at any time, right? Like any time this council wants to agendize an item and bring it to the public, whether it's a committee or mayor pro tem, we could do that. So I actually don't agree that it should be 4 out of 5 because I think that's, I don't know how that's even legal. I mean, we can agendize anything within our purview, and unless it's an urgency ordinance, then that would be a 4/5. But otherwise, it's regular city business, and I just don't even know if we could do that legally. But this council can agendize these things and discuss them. And I agree that if it's not that egregious of an issue, the vote probably won't hold. But so I would say that this is no different. That would be no different than any other decision that we make as a body. I appreciate all of your comments and eagle eyes with typos, and with that, those are all my comments.
Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you. I'm very grateful that this document exists. I know when I'm a new council member and I got the old version, and it really helped me understand what I was supposed to do, because when you come in for the first time, you have no clue. So it's really important. And I've already said the bit that I would like to change to make everybody sit up and notice, I have to abide by certain rules. And I agree that decorum is so important because we are setting an example for our whole community by the way we behave at this dais. So I would ask Candice on that legal item, can we say it has to be 4?
Well, here's the thing, as you noted on the first page, the document is technically voluntary. I think if we really wanted that to happen, we would pass it by ordinance, because that's the rule of law. Otherwise, any other document, is not going to hold as much water if we want to do by ordinance. I will offer up as a potential solution based on what I've been hearing. So if you look in the violation of norms section, just as reference, it's item number 4, page 22. It expressly says that for a multiple or egregious violations of the norms, the city council can elect to do any of these following. So would it help maybe to add that language to the removal of the mayor or mayor pro tem, is that for multiple or egregious violations of the norms, the city council may elect to remove the mayor or mayor pro tem from those positions. So you are setting the stage again that it's just for multiple or egregious violations.
So it would say, instead of reading, remove any offending council member from committee assignments, remove any council member from any assignment, which would include mayor and mayor pro tem.
Actually, I would not change number 4 under violation of norms. I probably would put it under the section that Mayor Pro Tem had identified, section of the mayor on page 4. And I think this is where I didn't catch exactly which number she was referring to. Were you suggesting a new section number, or you wanted to revise an existing section number on page 4?
I think I was just thinking we could put it right in there with number 8.
Oh, number 8.
Page 4.
Okay.
Page 4, number 8, because we're talking about the mayor's role. Is it page 5?
Yes,
page 5, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's page 4, and it's the mayor and mayor pro tem appears of and serve at the pleasure of the other council members, and
then we would say words, in case of violations of the norms, in addition to the other penalties, the mayor and the mayor pro tem can be removed and replaced from their positions by a majority of the council. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Candace, what Candace was saying is basically make it the same as page 22, number 4, and the wording of it.
Maybe I could read what I'm hearing, and you can steer me in the right direction if I'm wrong. So item number 8 on page 4, under selection of the mayor, it would read, the mayor and mayor pro tem are peers of and serve at the pleasure of the other council members. And then the new language would say, for multiple or egregious violations of the norms, the city council may elect to remove or replace the mayor or mayor pro tem. And I say city council because any action of the city council requires a majority of the city council.
Okay.
But I can put majority of the council if the council makes that better.
So the only problem I have with that language is that, in my opinion, if there was one egregious act by a mayor or a mayor pro tem, and I know these aren't binding, but I think the council, a future council, whatever, wants to have, like, it's right here, we can do this. And I don't think it needs to be multiple egregious acts. It might need to be multiple violations, or, just a single egregious. I mean, I can't even picture, I have some good friends who live in Huntington Beach, and wow, what's going on down there on their council, and even now at the supervisor level. And some of it's really egregious, and I think they did remove a mayor in the last few years. And I mean, so it's just an ongoing thing. I don't expect that we'll ever get there, and I would hope we never get there. But as long as we're redoing these, I think it could be like one incredibly egregious act that would,
Then we could reword it. We could say for an egregious act or multiple violations.
Yeah.
That is fine too. So currently in the violation and norm section, it does say for multiple or egregious violations. So I don't know if, I'm sorry if I didn't enunciate. So it is or, so it could be one egregious violation.
Yeah.
It could be one egregious. Okay.
Yes. So
Then I'm
if we
okay.
put it first, then it's very clear.
Okay,
For
for
an
mul-
egregious act or multiple
Multiple.
violations of the norms.
Yeah.
Okay.
With all due respect to Huntington Beach, I don't want any.
Are you watching?
I hope we're not.
So with that, Candace, do you want to try to read us back the changes that you have, or how do you want to do it? Or do you want to bring it back? What do you think we need to do?
Okay, let me see if I can read my notes. For an egregious violation or multiple violations of the norms, the city council may elect to remove or replace the mayor or mayor pro tem. Does that sound correct?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. And we'll make that same change to the violation of norm section, the order of the egregious and the multiple violations.
Oh, sorry. Well, I just think I saw one more typo. I don't know if I called it out. On page 4A, you've got double brackets after the word motion.
I don't have an A on page 4.
Which page 4 is this? Oh, this is the rules of procedure,
Oh,
page 4.
okay.
Do you see that one? Kimberly?
No, I think that's supposed to be it's a bracket within a bracket.
No, it's not. It's not the last word. Basic it was in its own bracket, but that motion.
Right, so it's which sought to amend the first basic motion. So which sought to amend the first basic ocean. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Eagle eye.
Sorry. It's my English upbringing.
Okay.
Do you want to try to summarize the other comments? You want to, in order for us to?
Did everyone speak and you would like me to summarize, or
I
does
think
anyone
so.
else
Does
want to speak?
anybody else want to speak? I haven't. Well, I think I spoke, but initially, I think all the other comments I'm fine. I'm fine with making the changes that were put out there. And I'm definitely for somebody that wants to have the norms, and I think the changes are good. And I think that it's great that we're trying to make sure that everybody adheres to them. So thank you. So Candace, you.
Sure, I'll summarize what I believe the revisions to be.
You got it.
And perhaps a recommended motion would be to adopt the revised norms with the following changes.
Okay.
Page 1, third paragraph, second sentence, except for those norms that are based on law, these norms are expected, and we are striking voluntary and non-binding. Bear with me. On page 4, under selection of the mayor, item number 8, we're adding the following new language: for an egregious violation or multiple violations of the norms, the city council may elect to remove or replace the mayor or mayor pro tem. On page 12, under closed session, paragraph number 7, the last parenthetical would read, i.e. public or private apology request, removal from committee assignments, or public or private censure. Page 14, under City Council interaction and communication, that page currently has items 10, A, B, and C. That will be renumbered to, A, B, and C would be renumbered as 11, 12, 13. 11 would be renumbered to 14, and 12 would be renumbered 15. Oh, also, I apologize. Item number 14, the new paragraph 14, the sentence, the last sentence that reads, if there's an urgency from that public agency, I think it could just read, if the council member has not had an opportunity to discuss the item, or in such an event, if the council member has not had the opportunity to discuss the item with the city manager, the council member shall abstain. Does that sound good? Yep. Okay. All right, almost done. Okay, I'm sorry?
Sorry, page 15 also has to be reordered because the new 11, 12, 13, then it's 14, 15, but then on page 15, it's 16, 17, 18.
Oh, yes, we'll renumber all of them. Thank you. So 15, 16, 17, 18. So there'll be 18 sections under that section. Thank you, council member. Page 22, violation of the norms, section 4, consistent with the selection of the mayor section. We will change that first clause to read, for an egregious violation or multiple violations of the norms, and then the remaining language would stay the same. And if you wouldn't mind me making a suggestion, kind of typographical related, under affirmations of Agoura Hills City Council norms and procedure, throughout the document, it refers to council member as one word. So we'll just have it read, I, the undersigned City of Agoura Hills council member, have read, understand, et cetera, et cetera. And then the final suggestion would be, and to authorize, and under Appendix A, Rules of Procedure for Agoura Hills City Council meetings, the last page, under multiple motions before the City Council, paragraph A, we will remove that extra closing parenthetical. And then as a final suggestion, authorization for staff and city attorney to correct any other typographical non-substantive errors. And that's my recommendation, my humble recommendation.
Before we make the motion, can we go back one time to page 1, where we're taking out voluntary and non-binding? Would it be more appropriate to say, except for those norms that are based on law, these norms, compliance with these norms is expected?
Works for me.
What are you guys laughing at?
That works for me.
If it works for everybody else, then I would so move.
Okay, well, I'll now call for a motion and a second to approve the city norms with the changes that the city attorney enunciated. I'll ask for a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber so moves.
I'll second. This is Deborah Klein Lopez.
Okay. Now call.
I'm sorry. It would be what I recommended with additional change suggested by Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber.
With additional changes suggested by
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber so moves. Again.
Deborah Klein Lopez seconds.
Awesome. Let's see. I'll now defer to the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Sylvester?
Aye.
Councilmember Wolf?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead, you have approval, 5-0.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments from staff? No? Are there any comments from City Council? Anybody? No, Sharon? Or Councilmember?
I didn't, I had my mic on, but just I want to thank you, Mayor Anstead, for helping to get some of the resolutions on to the agenda. It was really meaningful and I think important to the community, so I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for suggestion. I thought everything went really well today. Thank you. Any other comments from City Council?
No comments, thank you.
Okay. The special meeting of the City Council Goal Setting Workshop will be held at 4 p.m., followed by the regular City Council meeting at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023, in the council chambers of the Civic Center. It is anticipated that members of the public will have the opportunity to participate in person in the council chambers or by remote video conferencing, Zoom. At this time, we will adjourn tonight's meeting. Will the maker of the motion and second to adjourn please state your names?
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber, I forgot to mention that we were going to adjourn tonight in memory of Raya, and so some of this may be a little bit repetitive, but let me just go through it. As you've heard tonight, the City Council is remembering, honoring, and paying tribute to Raya Sagi, past Agoura Hills library manager who was a vital part of the city for years. Raya was instrumental in opening the library in the location that it now sits. She was determined, she was a go-getter, and she never slowed down. Raya was an important part of the Friends of the Library and really created the solid foundation that this group, the community, and the city collaborate still today. Raya loved books and sharing her love of books with the younger generation. She served her mandatory 2 years in the military in Israel. She taught Hebrew to university students, but her true love was living, serving, and working in Agoura Hills. Raya and her husband Zev, that you met tonight, and their son Daniel lived in Agoura Hills. Raya grew up in a small town in Israel called Neziona. She liked to compare her hometown to Agoura Hills, a small country-like setting where neighbors' doors were left open. She felt at home in Agoura from the get-go. I would like, on behalf of the entire city of Agoura Hills family, adjourn tonight's meeting in honor of Raya Sagi. Thank you.
Thank you. So tonight we'll adjourn in memory of Raya Sagi. And with that, will the maker of the motion and second to adjourn please state your names?
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber moves to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Raya Sagi.
Councilmember Sylvester seconds.
I'll now defer to the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Sylvester?
Aye.
Councilmember Wolf?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Buckley Weber?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead?
Aye.
Mayor Anstead, you have approval, 5-0.
Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.